Well, hello everyone. Chris here again with a partner spotlight. And today we have a very, very special one because we have guests today that are good friends of mine and good friends of yours too. We have John Vavrina, the Senior Vice President of Commercial Sales North America, and Isabelle Bujold, the Senior Director of National Sales Strategy. And they are from Exotica. How are you guys?
Hi. How are you, Chris?
We're good. I'm good. I'm so happy that you guys are here today. We always get to have fun when we get to hang out. We always see each other at events, and so having you in studio today with us is just a fantastic opportunity. We're going to talk about Exotica. We're going to talk to our members and explain to them, what Exotica is, the destinations you go to, the travelers that go on these trips. So we're really going to get into it, but having them here is always good fun, and
we're excited to be here.
It might have taken a little bit of behind the scenes. It might have taken them a little bit of time to get here, a little delays, but they are here, and we're excited for it.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. What is Exotica? For those new to the industry, for those new to WorldVia, what is Exotica?
What a great question. So a name with Exotica, right? What do you think that is? Well, we're a clothing optional resort in the Caribbean.
Wait.
Not. We do private and small group tours all over the world. Guided tours. So I can spend quite a bit of time, but a lot of times I'd like to talk about the history because we are pretty new to North America. So for example, we opened up in 2013 in Spain. That's where our global headquarters is.
Nice.
It's in Barcelona. And from there, we went into the German market, the French market, we went into the UK, and right before the pandemic, we came over to North America. During North America, when many travel suppliers took significant cuts in their revenue, dropping 80-90%, we actually doubled.
Ooh, wow.
And that's
nice.
when we made the decision
Yeah.
to start working with the trade. That's when we had some investors come in, and they were really impressed by the way we grew. And it's been a little bit less than 3 years now. We started working with the trade in North America, and the success that we've had here in North America has allowed us now to open up and work with the trade in Mexico, in Spain, in Latin America, in the UK, and come to a theater near you in Australia. So
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it just shows the growth of the brand. It shows the ability of the brand to pivot, to change with the times. And I think that that's something that a lot of brands struggle with. And a lot of brands, especially during the pandemic, like John said, them being able to expand during that period of time, you all being able to expand really shows how the brand can kind of go into the future, and the advisors out there knowing when I need a good, brand to trust, Exotica's there for you. So that is something that I do love to hear. So, John, do you think that Exotica kind of is for the everyday travel advisor? I mean, would you say it's for your newbies, your experience? Who do you think the Exotica brand is for when it comes to travel advisors?
That's a really interesting question because I never really think of it as the travel advisor. I think of it as the traveler, right? And because travel advisors are typically working with a large range of different people. I usually help describe what we do, and that helps put that in place for who the right customer is. But in short, I usually explain it like this. It is the average 55-year-old who wants to have that trip of a lifetime at a cost or at a price that they can afford a new trip of a lifetime every year. So this year, maybe they're going to Egypt. Next year, they're going to the Galapagos Islands. The year after, they're going to Morocco and Peru and so forth. So typically, your 55-year-old who's looking for that trip of a lifetime and able to do or afford a trip of a lifetime every year.
Would they be able... Oh, Isabelle.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
for me, it's a little bit different
Okay.
because I look at it on the travel advisors side,
Okay.
right? Like the one who's just starting in the industry, the ones that have been working in the industry for a longer time, right? And I started as a travel advisor.
Oh, wow.
And the booking engine that we have, the tools that we have, it's it makes it so easy for anybody really to sell Exotica. And so we'll talk about the booking engine a little more. But even the brand new travel advisor can easily book an Exotica tour.
I love that. And I love how you both took it in a different direction, because I think that that's important for our members to know, is that, you know, as an advisor, you can be kind of newer to the industry, and the ease of use with Exotica is something that will help you book. And like John said, you need to know the travelers. You need to know your
Correct.
clients. You need to know how to book these clients. I do want to talk about that, John. You know, can they choose the level of comfort that they like on these trips? Like, can the traveler know if I want to do a 3, 4, 5-star hotel?
Yep. So, you know, it's, I'm not even sure where to start with this. So we are very unique in that. So a lot of, you know, maybe I'll back up a little bit and discuss a little bit more about what we do before I get into that piece. So we do guided tours. We don't actually have a competitor in our space, but we have a lot of perceived competitors, right? So the first type of competitor is what I would really want to talk about, and that is your escorted tour companies, right? So the big escorted tour companies, they usually have a few things that are very much in common. Number one, they're usually a specific level. This is a 3-star company. This is a 4-star company. This is a 5-star company. Well, with us, you can choose whether your clients are going to be 3-star throughout, which is called our charm category, 4-star throughout, which is called our superior, or 5-star throughout, which is our luxury. Now, we also do a lot of things different, you know, by the fact that typically the escorted tour companies are 48 to 52 passenger buses. Our average load, we do small groups, so it's usually 12 to 18 people. We also, typically an escorted tour company, they have to hit a minimum of 21 to 23 passengers to sign up for that departure date. If they don't get that, it tends to be a, you know, cancel due to lack of participation. They're not making money. All of our tours are guaranteed with just 2. So if you book 2 people on an Exotica tour, and even if nobody else signs up for that tour is going.
Nice.
Then there's a big thing with choice, right? So typically an escorted tour company has 3 or 4 departures a month. We typically have everyday departures, or we have departures 3 to 4 times a week, and usually on several different tours. But that's not the biggest difference.
Okay.
So the biggest difference between us and an escorted tour company is the type of touring that we do. So if you're familiar with a typical escorted tour company,
Sure.
it works like this, right? Everybody meets at 8 o'clock in the morning, right? They have breakfast.
Yeah, right, yeah.
9 o'clock in the morning, they get on the bus. They go to the first castle. They have an hour and a half there. They get back on the bus. They go back to a hotel, have lunch. They get back on the bus. They then go to the next activity. They get back on the bus after that. Then they go to the next hotel, check in, dinner. And from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., the next 10, 12, 15 days, that entire group is moving as one unit. And there's not a lot of free time to do what's important to you, right? It's very structured as this is what we're going to do.
Sounds very old-fashioned.
I don't want to tell you, I mean, we do have there are places in the world where we'll do something like that.
Okay.
But the majority, 90% of what we do is actually guided. And the difference is this. I'll give you an example. We fly your customers, where am I? Your customers, down to Lima, for example, Peru. Pick them up with an Exotica transfer and bring them back to the hotel. The next day, they're either going to have a private tour, so it's just 2 people, or just 4, 6, whoever you want on that private tour, or they're joining a small group. Once again, our average group size is 12 to 18. They meet the rest of the group, and the guide now is going to be local to the area. So we invest locally.
Yeah.
Local properties, local guides, local activities. So we spend we put a lot of money into the local environment. But that guide is going to talk to them about the history, the culture, what it was like living in the area, the political scene. So far, it's in many ways similar to an escorted tour. Here's where it changes.
Yeah.
The middle of the second day is when that guide is going to say, okay, who here is interested in trying the local cuisine of guinea pig? Right?
Oh, okay.
Now, believe it or
Yeah,
not,
well,
okay.
all
no judgment.
12 or 18 people may not want to have guinea pig.
Okay.
Those of you who do, let me show you and make recommendations where you can go for that, and let me make recommendations where you do not go for that, right? Who here is interested in getting Instagram pictures? Let me show those of you that want to do that how to get the best views of the city. Who here wants to go shopping? Out of the group that's here that wants to do shopping, let me bring you over and show you how to get back to the shopping area that I showed you yesterday.
Wow.
And then the guy's going to let those people go, and they can break off and do what's important to them. So they had we always say it, right? It's the best of both worlds. We take the best of the escorted world, the best of the complete FIT world, and kind of merge it. So you still have guidance, you're hearing the history, you're hearing the culture, you're hearing all the important highlights of what to do, but then you have time to break off on your own. And maybe the two of us just want to go and have wine somewhere. We don't have to be with the rest of the group.
Maybe.
Or maybe you and I want to go shopping.
Right,
And nobody else wants to go shopping.
I still have
right?
my wine.
Yeah, you still have wine.
I'll wait for you guys.
Yeah, she can go shopping. We can go have, go get some Instagram pictures.
Yeah.
Like we typically would. So that's kind of the difference. We build in a lot of free time so that the passengers now don't feel herded and they don't feel stuck as one group. They have the ability to go back and now do what's important to them.
I think that's huge. And Isabelle, I want to kind of hear your experience on going on these trips and what you have. The thought of that is so much different than the typical, and that's why I said old-fashioned, because the thought of that standard tour, like John was describing, was, you get on that bus at 8 a.m. and you shuffle to each location, you step out, you take your pictures, you get back on the bus and you go. Mm-hmm. But the way John describes this is just like, now I have this freedom to kind of explore and learn.
And sometimes, you'll make friends with other guests and next thing you know, you're going with other people, or sometimes there'll be something very interesting that everybody's interested in and they'll all go together, right? So, but it gives you the flexibility, and you don't feel that you have to be with the group all the time, right? So you also have your free time.
And that ties back into who the traveler is. Mm-hmm. The traveler is now, for you all out there listening to this, and you have your clients, you're thinking, well, who is my Exotica client? Well, John and Isabelle just described, it's everybody. Mm-hmm. It could be those people that want that guided tour. It could be those people that want that structure. It could be the people that don't want the structure. Mm-hmm. It could be the people that say, I want to learn enough about this city that I've never been in. I want a little bit of that guided tour, but I want to try to explore out on my way. And I can get the comfort level that I want. Mm-hmm. I can get that 3, 4, 5-star comfort level that I want, which I think is great because it just shows the flexibility. It shows the maneuverability. It shows the understanding of a company like Exotica to cater to all those clients. Because these days, I'm sure you both know this, being your time in the industry, the client must be changing. Correct?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, would you say, Isabelle, would you say the client is becoming more discerning, or, that they want to see certain things, or they're open to anything?
Well, nowadays, right, everything is accessible.
Yeah.
And you can learn, so much before you go on your trip.
Yeah.
And your expectations are higher, or different than my expectation would be different than yours or yours. And that's important to give that possibility for any traveler to experience.
It's interesting because I think some of the way that some of the passengers and the traveler has changed is very similar to when I first talked to Isabelle about coming on to Exotica. Mm-hmm. So when I first talked to her about coming on to Exotica, she was thinking of the traditional escorted tour model.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was, I'll let you say.
Well, my first reaction, and that's something very personal, but I said, John, it's not me. So I cannot sell, I cannot represent something that, it's not for me.
Yeah.
And I know it's very popular. I mean, the buses are full and the groups the tours are full. But personally, it's not something that I'm interested in. And then he explained what a guided tour was. Mm-hmm. And I go, oh, that I can do. You know, that's usually what I do actually. When I go somewhere new, I'll find a local guide, and I want to know exactly, not exactly, but I want to know the highlights of the destination, right? And then let me go.
Yeah,
right?
then let me explore.
And let me explore. Yeah.
You know, and that's actually typical of a lot of passengers these days. So when we were first launching in the U.S. and Canada, I was having these conversations with a lot of the travel advisors, and when I would have it, they're like, I got these customers, they don't want to be herded around it. So they've done the escorted tour, but they don't want to be completely alone on FIT. They can't afford a private tour, because again, another perceived competitor is there's some really good private tour companies out there.
Right.
Yeah.
But there is no one that provides private tours in the affordability category that we do. And we can do it and I'm talking like, even if we're putting people in luxury, the cost difference is amazing.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. There's a very popular tour. It's a Galapagos Island hopping tour that one of the private, one of the companies that do private tours, very, very high end, phenomenal company. But that tour for them starts at $9,800 per person without international air. With international air, you're talking $22,000 to $24,000, and we're not even talking about business class air at this point, right? So we have a very similar. We have a 12-day version of that tour. It's a couple of differences. I mean, we actually stay on the islands itself, which is very unique. We're the only tour operator that I know of that does that. But it's a 12-day. If you look at the map, it's exactly the same. Our tour with international air for two people is under $4,000.
Oh my God.
$4,000 versus $24,000. A lot of those companies, they're focusing at the extremely wealthy. There's clients for that.
Yeah,
there's
sure.
clients
And those
for
clients
sure.
are not going to be the same
100%.
clients that you're going to. The clients that are willing to spend $20, $40, $60, $80,000 on a trip, on a 9-day trip, or a 10-day or 11-day trip. They're not the same client that you're going to book on a 12-day Exotica tour.
Right.
The client that you book on a 12-day Exotica tour is going to do another 12-day or 10-day or whatever tour next year and the year after and the year after. They didn't save up all to do this one tour. They're not the ultra wealthy.
Right.
They're the average 55-year-old that likes to travel and wants great value, but they want that great experience. They don't want to be herded around, but they also don't want to be just thrown at, hey, here's your hotels, here's your train tickets, go for it.
Figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. It's the bucket list of trips that you can afford every year.
That's
right.
And I love that both of you have put it in this context, because I think a lot of people, John, are afraid to tell advisors who the clients are not. And I think that being honest about that is important. 100%. You know, the ultra rich are going to go on what they're going to go on, and that's fine. And if you have clients like that, fantastic, more power to you.
Power to you.
But the average person, the average traveler, the average 55-year-old traveler or group, whatever, has a certain budget, and Exotica can fit that budget. And that's the key thing that, as an advisor, I want you to kind of take away from a lot of this talk, is that you need to search your client list and understand that I have the clients for Exotica. Like I have those clients. So we talk about going on all these great places, all these great trips. Oh, yes.
Well, I was going to say, it might be the question you're leading into, so I hate to jump, but there is one other type of perceived competitor
that we
have out there, and this is the third category. So we talked about the big 48 to 52 passenger escorted tours.
Yeah.
We also talked about the high-end private tours, because we do private tours. Well, the other category that we get confused, or people ask us questions about, are the adventure companies.
Okay.
Because we travel all over the world, right? So we go to the same adventurous places. We go to Peru and Machu Picchu. We go to Galapagos Islands. We go to Egypt. We go to all over Asia.
Are you going to name the 300 plus?
I'm gonna just give me
tours
about
that we
17
have.
minutes. So we travel all over the world, right? And we do small groups. Well, the adventure companies do small groups.
Right.
Now, they are run a little bit more like the escort tour companies, where they may have only 3 or 4 departures a month, where we have like everyday departures in Peru, for example. And they do have to hit a minimum. but the minimum isn't quite as high as an escorted tour company, where our minimum is 2. But here's the big difference. With the adventure companies, for example, if you want to go to Machu Picchu and you want to hike 3.5 days to do that, that's an adventure company. We don't do that. Our customers, they take the luxury train.
Sure.
Their hotel in the Amazon, okay? They don't. Our customers don't paddle a canoe to get there. They'll take the ferry boat.
Okay.
We don't offer sleeping in hostels. That's not something part of our offering. We don't offer sleeping bags or the Boy Scout type tents. If that's the experience your customers are looking for, that is an adventure company. Typically, the customers that you book on an Exotica tour are the parents of the customer that would be sleeping in hostels and hiking 3.5 days up the Inca Trail and paddling canoes to get to their hotel in the Amazon. We go to the same places. We don't put in all the work to get there.
We and I love that you put it like that, because that is a good way to think about it. Like, you have your adventure travelers, like producer Evan over here. He's an adventure traveler, but his parents are probably not the ones that are going to want to stay in the hostels, like John is saying. But that's the great thing about a company like Exotica. Your clients, you may have the younger clients that want to do that adventure stuff and that are willing to. I'm not willing to stay in a hostel or do anything like that, so I am not that adventure traveler. But, you may have people like that, but you may have people that are a little bit older. They're the parents of these adventure travelers, like John is saying. They want the luxury train trip. They want to go to Machu Picchu. They want to see it, but they want that train trip up there because it's going to be a little more comfortable back. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I know, Evan, we have some fantastic, because I know what you all are thinking. Well, what are these destinations? John rifled off a couple, but do you have any proof of this? Well, if there's one thing I know about John and Isabelle, and it is on their social media, you see these pictures. And the best thing about them is that they're always posting these fantastic pictures of all the places that they're going to. And so we have a few of those pictures now. Evan, let's take a look at I know they recorded a video for us a little while ago. So let's see if we can cue that up. I think it's in Chile.
Hello, our WorldVia friends. My name is John Vavrina, and I am the Senior Vice President of Commercial Sales at Exotica.
Hi, and I'm Isabelle, and I'm the Director of National Account.
And we are here in Santiago, Chile.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. We are here watching the changing of the guards. You can probably hear the music in the background. We just wanted to give a big shout out to you, let you know that we're thinking about you all, and we're so happy to be doing business with you.
Bye.
Bye.
So that was in Chile, right?
It was during the changing of the guard.
Oh, that was
when we were
amazing.
in Santiago, right?
Yeah.
Which is actually, if you ever seen the changing of the guard in London,
Mm-hmm.
this was, which I've seen actually several times. I was actually taken back by the fact that this was more impressive.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we were expecting the traditional, right, events, and all of a sudden they started to play Queen and everybody's dancing on the street, and it was so cool. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we have another picture of Chile out there. Let's see if we can bring that. Okay. So where's this one?
Valley of the Moon.
Valley of the Moon.
So it's a great. I mean, you're looking at the background of those mountains.
Oh my God! I didn't even see those.
Yeah, those are actually active volcanoes.
Yeah.
Most of those are active volcanoes in the background there.
Okay, and you see on that picture that we do some adventure also,
I mean,
right?
I don't see a road there.
I don't want people to think that we're boring tours. No. We do cool stuff too.
That looks. What a beautiful picture. What a beautiful. Yeah, I didn't see a paved road going up into that. So there was
quite a hike.
There was some hiking there.
It just didn't take us 3.5 days to get there.
That's the important part, everybody. Your clients can still go on these fantastic adventures. They just can have a little bit of luxury to go along with that. Another popular one, Machu Picchu. I know that we chatted about that. I think we have a picture of John up at Machu. Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at that picture. John,
It's-
looks like you're high. Obviously, you're higher than Machu Picchu there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little area where, and this is great too because we get a lot of questions. Sometimes people are like, hey, is there a lot of walking? My first answer to that is, have you ever been to an airport? Like, if you can go through, especially at the Atlanta airport, you can walk, right? But the thing is, even if you have a somewhat of a limited mobility and you go to somewhere like Machu Picchu, you can still get that type of view. So you get off of the transport that brings you up there, and you first get off and you're in that area where I took that where I had that picture taken of me. You just don't. You may not have the ability to walk down and hike all around. But
Right.
again, that's when it comes to choice.
Yeah.
Right. I can be as active or as inactive as I want.
Yeah.
The rest of the group can go down and they can walk all the way, all through the ruins and stuff of Machu Picchu, and I could have literally just stayed up there and still admired that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a beautiful view, right?
breathtaking. It's
That's
breath-
incredible.
Yeah.
It's destinations like that John talked about it earlier, where he said, you see all these adventure places, you see all these luxury places, like all these amazing destinations. Well, we're showing you all these fantastic places that Exotica is going to, and your clients can get there for probably a lot less money than other ones, and that's what's important.
Yep.
Another good one, Egypt. Now, Egypt is probably a very popular destination. The pyramids, tombs, all those. So I know we have a fantastic picture of a group in front of, I believe, a tomb.
Yeah. So that is Abu Simbel.
Okay.
And this goes back to some of the unique things we do, which we don't actually do a good job of exploiting some of the unique things we do. So we were talking about Machu Picchu earlier, where I talked about how we're the only tour operator that actually stays on the islands.
Yes.
Everybody else actually circles in a ship and they get off and do excursions there, right? Abu Simbel is another example of that. So you go down to Aswan, and it's about a 3-hour drive south of Aswan to get to Abu Simbel. Actually, if you see that, they came out the movie Death of the Nile with Wonder Woman in it and stuff like that. They actually they do a large scene there. But this is how it works. Our guides are very good at saying, listen, when I tell people what time we leave, a lot of them want to back out because we go very early in the morning.
Okay.
But those that I explain, listen, just trust me and just do it. It is the highlight of the trip. And that's because of the way we do it different than everybody else. So what we do is we leave Aswan sometime between 2:30 and 3 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
We get down to Abu Simbel at 6 a.m. When we get there at 6 a.m., there's no one else there. So that's why you saw no one else in the
Can you bring
background.
that picture back up, Evan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We
I'd
were
love
able
to
to get
see
that
that.
picture because we're the only ones there. Look at that. Normally, there would be all people crowded in
Sea
the
of
background.
people, yeah.
Okay.
So we walk around there from 6 to 8:30 in the morning, 8:15 in the morning. And when we're leaving, that's when all of a sudden you start seeing all the big bus escorted tour operators coming in. Those customers are not having the same experience that we had. We're walking. I have a picture where I'm jumping up and doing a big.
We were gonna
starfish in
use
front of
that one. We were
Yeah.
gonna use that one, but
Yeah.
I love that picture. Okay, there's a lot to take in there. The fact that when you described it to me in that way, I didn't think about that there was nobody behind you, but there was nobody walking around you. I was just like, oh, well, I guess they might have been able to get this shot when there was nobody around, whatever.
Which is impossible.
Which is, I guess, that's impossible.
yeah.
So the fact that Exotica will take you to these places before the crowd gets there, and you can get those shots, you can experience the destination in a way that you might not have been able to any other time because you've just been too busy, too crowded.
Yep.
Look at it, walk away, and you're just like, oh, okay. That picture it's almost like you were there by yourselves.
Yeah.
And
We were.
You were. There you go.
I should say we did have another Exotica group that was there. So we're like, you guys go to that side of the temple. There's a couple different temple buildings there.
Yeah.
We're like, you go to that side. We're gonna go to this side.
That is wild. And then another magical place that you sent me was a castle in Portugal, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a look at this. Evan's bringing it up. Don't worry.
Do we have to go grab one from Joshua's room?
Oh, yeah.
Castles from out there. Yeah, so this is
wow.
Sintra in Portugal, and it is a fairy tale, 15th century, castle that one of the things we do in Portugal, which is actually our #1 destination. It used to be Peru, followed by Ecuador and Galapagos Islands. Portugal has become, over the last 2 years, our #1 destination. Very, very hot destination, and you can go at an insane, affordable price. But anyway, one of the many things we do, we do a lot of UNESCO World Heritage Sites, this being one of them.
Nice.
And you get to spend the day there walking around. It has spiral staircases. It has, it just has. There's so much to take in. You're literally feel like you're walking around a 15th century castle, but a fairy tale castle, like something that should be like what you would think Disney was inspired, or built around, But it's real. It's not.
I've never seen that castle before. I've never seen a picture of that castle, but that is such. You wouldn't think that was in Portugal, but I guess when you're as your clients are getting out there and they're learning about these places and they're visiting these places, they're going to see things that they may not have known about. They may learn about these destinations that they had no idea of. And I think that that's the beauty of being able to go on these tours, have a little bit of that guided value, but then have that exploratory value as well, because you're able to kind of learn and then say, well, now I want to kind of experience a little bit on my own.
Correct.
Which I think is, I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about what is included in the tours that Exotica provides.
It would be faster to talk about what's not included.
So let's hear. So when I'm booking my clients on an Exotica tour, what are they getting with this?
So it's if you don't mind, I always cut it off. So I'm sorry, because I like to talk a lot.
we haven't figured that one out, John.
Isabelle's time as well, because she's very, very knowledgeable.
Oh yeah.
But so basically an Exotica tour you can book with or without air. I'll say why, but also the way we get our pricing. It's significantly discounted when the air is included. One of the many ways we contract and get to our pricing. So typically air is included, and with our booking engine, you can choose whether it's going to be land only, or you can choose it's going to be in basic economy, regular economy, business class, first class. So you have a lot of different choices what you can put the client on. The next thing, you got to think of this is a preset itinerary. So what we've done is we've put together these itineraries, and we vary into our NPS scores. So we survey all our customers, and we modify the tours based on all the feedback. And then what we have included there is your guide or guides, right? Because every time you go somewhere, if you fly somewhere, we always provide a local guide in the area. So for example, in Lima, you're going to have a guide from Lima. When you fly up to Cusco, there's going to be a new local guide in Cusco. And that's because the guide in Lima, who is Peruvian, may be an expert in Lima, but they're not an expert in Cusco.
Sure.
So we'll have a new local expert in Cusco. So anyway, your guides, your transportation, so we have transfers from the airport. You also have like in the case of Peru, you're flying from Lima up to Cusco, right? So your inner flights are included too. Then you also have some meals. Now, we don't include all meals, and typically your breakfasts are included. Sometimes, some lunches, some dinners, but we don't include a lot because a lot of times you're touring, right?
Yeah.
And when you're touring, our guide is going to want to ask you questions like, okay, who wants to have seafood? Well, believe it or not, the whole group doesn't want seafood. So if we brought you back to, and we're not like a lot of the. There are a lot of companies out there, tour companies, that they'll bring it back to an Americanized hotel, right?
Right.
For lunch, it's a preset menu. You have 3 choices, right? What we like to do is we are in the city center of Lima. Who wants seafood? That's where you go. Who wants to try guinea pig? That's where you go. Who wants to try, who wants to go to a steakhouse? That's where you go. And give that choice. So who wants just want to go get coffee? Like, believe it or not, a lot of people that travel, they don't even have lunch. Some people skip lunch, or they eat something small.
Save it for dinner.
Yeah, save it for dinner.
Or they want to taste, the pastry that is unique to that area, right? And with a coffee, like you said, that's
so true that you bring that up, because I imagine you're spending the time. You've decided as a traveler that you're going to go to Peru, and you're going to experience the country, and you want to experience everything about it. You go to Lima, you go to Cusco, and so when you go to these places, shouldn't you want to experience the place itself, the local place?
Authentic.
I mean,
I know I want.
Well,
That's what I want.
I think,
Yeah.
and I know everybody's different, but you should, if you're going there, you might as well take it all in, right? And I think the beauty of Exotica is saying you don't have to rush to get back on the bus to go back to the hotel to get that menu, the chicken, fish, or beef menu
Right.
from the. No. You have the whole city to
Yeah.
yourself. You can
Yeah,
get whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like
Get
I'm going to tell you,
inspired,
get
right?
inspired. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you where I think you're going to get the best of this, of this, of this, of this. That's why the guide are so important. That now I'm realizing that's why the guides are so important, because I may be an expert on Marietta, Georgia. I may not be an expert on another city in Georgia. Really, I'm not an expert at all. But you know what I'm saying. It's one of those things that I may know a little bit about the town I grew up in Florida, but I may not know about another place. That's the beauty of having those specialized guides right
Yeah.
there for you. I love that.
Yeah. More than just a tour leader, a guide that can guide you.
Yeah.
Yeah. To explore what you want to explore, what's important for you.
When you, and let me ask you, like on a personal level, when you've gone to these places, Isabelle, and you've gone on these tours, have you felt that you've been able to experience something that you would have never been able to experience before? Have the freedom to?
Have the freedom to. And walk the streets and find that special coffee place, and then speak with the local and hug. And remember when we were in Chile, that coffee place, that woman was amazing, and we just stopped for a coffee. We didn't want to leave, it was so amazing. Yeah, so it gives you that opportunity to really do what's important to you.
That's great. Yeah. What kind of customizations can they take on their tours?
Yeah, good question. So I will always be very careful about this question.
Yeah, of course.
Right, because what we don't do what's called tailor-made. So, for example, you couldn't call us up and be like, "Hey, I have customers," and typically, one of the many reasons, right, is customers don't have a great knowledge of geography.
Right.
So you'll get customers that'll say, "Oh, I want to go from Venice, but instead of going right down to Florence, I want to go over to London. Then I want to come back down to Florence. Then I want to go over to Munich."
In 7
days. In 7 days, right? And then get down, end up down in Rome,
Yeah.
right? So we do preset itineraries. So there's no customizing like we have, but now we have a lot of choices too. Like for example, Egypt, like 13 different tours that leave 3 or 4 departures every single week.
Right.
So we have a lot of choices, but within the tour itself, there's a few ways you can customize it, right? And that is number one, you can choose the hotel category. So these are going to be 3-star customers, which is our charm category. These are going to be 4-star customers, which, by the way, WorldVia agents are most common book 4-star, the superior level over any other level. Second most common that they book is actually the luxury. There's not a big price difference between charm, the entry level, mid, superior, and luxury. So
Good to know. Good to know.
So I would actually always start with luxury, quite honestly. But so you can choose that. You can also choose. Obviously, the dates. We have a plethora of dates.
Yep.
Hey, if you want to save up $200, why don't you leave on Tuesday instead of Wednesday? Like you can actually see
That's
what
good.
the pricing is.
Yeah, that's really good.
on a monthly calendar, every single day, with air, which is very helpful, right? You can do it land only if you really wanted to. Most people don't do that, and then you can also customize within the days. We do have certain options. So let's talk about Peru for a minute. Most of the options typically tend to be food or museums.
Okay.
Right. So you have the best of both worlds. Not everybody wants. Some people love museums. Some people hate them.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
So a lot of times there are museum options. Then there is, in the case of Peru, some of the unique things is day 5 or day 6 on our most popular Peru tour is typically a day in the Sacred Valley that is meant to be a day for you to go and do whatever you want, right? You're with your traveling companion, and you can break off to it. You've seen your way around the Sacred Valley. You can make your way around.
Right.
But there are some people that have made making a choice like I don't want it. I want more.
I want more.
I want more.
I want more.
And what they'll do is they'll sign up for a full day tour. So it could be just 2 people in the entire group, might be the whole group, might be any combination of those people in that group that may do the full day tour. And we're talking generally $150, $180 for a full day tour that includes lunch.
Wow.
And is guided. So it's not like a big, it's not a big difference. It's more based on the
Preference,
feedback and the preference that we've had from people like, hey, usually halfway through, I want a day off.
Oh, sure.
And I
course.
want to just do my own thing versus, hey, I'm halfway through. I want to see as much as I can.
Right.
So that's that's based on the choice of the customer. The other thing would be something like when we take the train up to Machu Picchu, right? So the luxury train is included.
Oh,
Up to
nice.
Machu Picchu,
That's
right?
nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
However, as an upgrade, you can put
upgrade.
your clients in the panoramic car. So it's got panoramic
That's
windows.
beautiful.
It's got the bar car, and it's got an outdoor viewing area. And again, that's like $110, $109. I'll probably actually swap in the pricing on those two. I think the full day tour is actually $110, and the upgrade is about $150.
Wow.
But again, the luxury train is already included. You don't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like, I'm only going up there once. I'm drinking. I'm going in the outdoor viewing
Of
car. I'm
course.
like, I want the panoramic windows. I can get great pictures. And they have that option. Right?
That's
They have
great.
The option to do that.
I think that when we talk about customization, when we talk about for your clients that are out there, that you can be that hero to your clients and be like, hey, you're gonna get that luxury train, but hey, here's another thing. I think wouldn't it be great if you had this panoramic view, had a bar car, and your client's like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. You're like, look, I can get that to you for an extra $100.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you say things like that, then they start to perk up. Wow, you can do that for me? Yes, I can. Through Exotica,
And
I
they
can
look
do that.
like a star, right?
That's the idea,
And they're
right?
taking care of their clients, and absolutely. And
We are here
Of course.
to take our clients to places that they've never been to, and we're here to make our business successful.
we're a travel professional.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
yes.
with the help of Exotica, I think that's achievable. And as we're coming to the end, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about education. So what are some of the ways that our advisors out there in our network who are new to travel, maybe who are new to Exotica, where can they get education on Exotica?
So I'm going to let her answer this in just a second without me saying a few words but I'm going to say a few words
All
first.
right.
Can you put that in writing?
Yes. Yes. We've got best-in-class training. And the way I really felt that is I remember being at a conference a couple of years ago, and I had a travel advisor come up to me, and she was like, you guys are unbelievable. You guys did live training with me. Most companies won't even talk to me until I've done $100,000 worth of revenue with them. And how do I get to know the company and do that type of revenue without knowing the company first? So the way it works is as soon as someone comes to exotica.com, they go in the upper right-hand corner to sign in. You can sign in as one of the options is as a travel advisor. You go in and you register. Now, WorldVia is already, all the information is already built in. You simply put in the IATA number. It takes you less than 90 seconds to register with us. When you do that, you get an email that has your the name of the local BDM that is there to support you. You also get links for you to choose on a calendar basis what time slot fits for our onboarding team.
No way.
Now, the onboarding team, what they do is you schedule a time that works for you. There's usually 4 or 5 people on the call, and it's basically a video call. It's not a webinar where people are talking at you and you're just sitting there watching. It's an interactive video call where they're demoing how easy it is to use the booking engine. That's a very powerful tool. Very simple, very point and click. If you've ever bought an airfare on like Expedia or something, you can do it, right? It's that easy. But it also they're also there to answer questions, and talk about basic policies and answer any questions that are there. So live training is available to every single person that registers.
Huge.
And that helps whether you're
Huge.
brand new in the business or whether you've been in the business a while, because everybody's got their own system.
Yep.
And most of them are actually very clunky. Ours is actually super easy, but still having the comfort of someone showing you, like, you almost don't believe it's as easy as it is until someone shows it to you. Like, that's it? That's how easy it is?
Yeah.
You always talk about some of the benefits of going through that
Yeah,
training.
the benefits, but also often I'll hear from an advisor, I don't understand. I'm with WorldVia and we're preferred with you guys, but I don't receive anything. Well, WorldVia, yes, you're preferred, but you still have to register with us as a travel advisor.
Very important.
You know, that's very, very important because at this point, we don't know you. You don't know us, we don't know you. So when you sign up, you create your own profile under WorldVia, then you'll have access to the booking engine, and then you'll start receiving our newsletters and promotions and all that, right? So often that's what happens, right? They say, oh, I never hear from you. It's because they're not registered with us. So that's number one. That's very easy. Like John was saying, you'll receive an invitation to do the onboarding, which is about 30-minute call. So if you don't do the onboarding, again, a lot of people are registered with us, never done the onboarding. You're leaving money on the table. You have to do the onboarding.
There's so many amazing things about what you two just said about this training because, like John was hinting at, a lot of places are like, well, I want you to be established before you come in and learn about us. Okay, how does that help me? Very much like WorldVia, Exotica doesn't do webinars. We don't do webinars. We do broadcasts. That's what Exotica's doing. They're not doing some boring old-fashioned webinar where you're just sitting there doing nothing and watching John on the screen say, and this is this, and this is this. And it's not like that.
He cannot do that.
No, I know. I know John couldn't do that, so it's not John anyways. But no, it's a learning. It's a learning avenue. It's a learning process, and
it's
like,
interactive.
It's interactive. And like Isabelle was saying, you need to make sure that you're registered. You need to make sure, because we're already in their system. WorldVia is in there. Make sure that you personally are in there. Make sure you are taking advantage of all these amazing things that Exotica has to offer, because, I mean, quite frankly, how could you not? If touring is a major component of travel, major component, it is at WorldVia one of our biggest categories. So you need to be able to take advantage of these things. You need to be able to know where your clients want to go, how you can get them there in the best, safest, easiest, and at some points, best budget-friendly way that you can.
Absolutely.
And because everybody has a budget, whether it's $30,000 a trip or whether it's $5,000 a trip, everybody has a budget. So working with Exotica, working with your local BDM, that's extremely important. And you know, you don't really get that support with everybody. So knowing that you can get it with Exotica is something that I want everybody to understand and take away from this talk, because you know, why leave money on the table? Why leave help on the table? Why leave resources on the table? Right?
Yeah.
So I think, you know, as we finish up here, John and Isabelle, I think at the end of the day, what I've gotten from you all, fantastic destinations, fantastic service, fantastic education. Okay. Thank you, Evan, because that was a fantastic picture of penguins in South Africa.
Yeah.
Isabelle, you were saying.
Well, I was saying, you know, sometimes you look at a picture like that and you feel, I'll never be able to do that. Of course you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isabelle was actually saying in the background that that's our sales team.
Oh,
Yeah,
And then I said,
right.
you're right. Those penguins sell more of our, you know, more of our
And
South
I'm-
Africa trips, which is one of our top destinations, than anybody in the company. So.
And I'm so proud of our sales team.
I love that.
And we have, in North America, we have 16 now and growing. And the beauty of it is that we don't have a BDM assigned to WorldVia. So the BDM is where you're located.
That's right, and that's very helpful for a lot of members that are all over the country.
Very helpful. So, you know, you can be on the West Coast, on the East Coast, and in between, you'll have a BDM, a local BDM available for you, and reach out to that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tough world out there, you know, when you're a travel advisor. So you want to have the best options that you can, and having Exotica on your side That's a good option to have. So from everybody here at WorldVia Studio A, the Purple Palace, whatever we call it these days, Evan, I'm not sure. But we want to thank John and Isabelle for joining us today on what was a long day for them. You know, a little behind the scenes. It was a little bit of a long day for them, but you know, we truly thank them for joining us, for their partnership with WorldVia, for their support of our network, and for, you know, taking the time to teach us about Exotica today. And the fact that it's not a nude
Clothing
resort
in the Caribbean.
I could have sworn. I could have sworn. But all right, everybody, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.